All right, you guys, welcome back to the Kai Laveo channel. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. The weather's beautiful on the West Coast. I know the rest of the country is being smothered by the heat. Hopefully you guys find some cooling shelters and all that. But another problem that will make that worse to go along with that is the male loneliness pandemic. Do you not have hobbies, things you like to do, family, friends? I know some of that is hard to access for some people, but luckily you can sign up for classes at your local community college. That's one way to get it out. Go to parks, hikes, clubs, gym, and all that. But let's see. There's an NBC News clip I wanted to review. Let's check it out and see what they have to say about it, because this is getting ridiculous.
This morning, we are taking a closer look at a growing crisis in America: loneliness and social isolation. For many, it's getting harder and harder to make connections, especially for men. That can harm more than their mental health. It impacts their physical health, too. I recently spent some time with one group that's trying to make connecting easier, literally, one step at a time.
I feel like all of the best people I've met in my adult life have been here in New York.
The name of this group strolling through Central Park is quite fitting: Walking, Talking Men.
I'm trying to get better at...
Hey, but why does this have to be in a liberal area, though? Have you noticed that? It's not really a problem in conservative areas, I don't think, because in conservative areas, everything is tight packed. Everybody's clicked up. Families are real tight. But see, in liberal cities, it's a little different, because everybody's on their purpose, on their journey. They're trying to be above the world or top of the world. But notice these are middle-aged men. These aren't young teenagers. These are guys like in their late 30s and up.
Finding time for myself.
Twice a week, that's exactly what they do, candidly chatting about their lives.
They're getting the kind of connection that they need and that they haven't had in their life.
It used to make me uncomfortable.
I'm proud of these guys. You want to know why? Because if they're not with these group of men discussing life, they're somewhere at a strip club or somewhere discussing it with erotic dancers in private rooms and shit. You know? Massage spas.
Be around other men.
Trying to be a friend.
Trying to be a
I
friend.
wasn't sure how to do it.
Mark Green co-founded the group last year, finding no shortage of interest.
We have huge numbers of social isolation for men, for everyone, but for men specifically.
Show of hands, before this, who here was feeling lonely?
It's not easy to admit, but they're far from alone. One study finds just 27% of men have at least 6 close friends. 15% report having no close friends.
I had thought I had a lot of friends, and I did, but when I really looked at the connections I had with them, I realized that something was missing a little bit.
You want to know one of the main causes of this? It's not because everybody's funny acting, the world is fake. This is one of the reasons. It's an Xbox controller, but, well, it's compatible with PC too, but too much gaming, too much online worlds, too much fantasy, anime, and all that. And people from all walks of life love anime, especially older men, even women. But you don't want to get trapped in the house all day playing video games and watching anime. Netflix too, binging. Binging is a habit. So that prevents you from working out, eating right, and staying in shape, and keeping your psyche healthy too. So it all comes hand in hand.
In 2023, the Surgeon General issued an advisory about loneliness, saying it increased the risk of premature death by 26%, on par with smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
If I have a busy day, I never have a problem with loneliness.
Matt Ritter and Aaron Carroll created a podcast, Man of the Year, to address the issue.
In high school, you learned sex ed, but you never learned friend ed. Especially for men, we need tools.
They tell men, find your third place. Not home, not work, but someplace you can find guys with similar interests. And when you make that connection, plan something.
People are afraid, oh, if I text Jim, Jim's not going to like it. Trust us, he's waiting for you to text him.
Their advice, TCS. Text weekly, call monthly, see each other quarterly.
Yeah, I have to pause that. We're going to put that on the screen. Text weekly, call monthly, and see quarterly. Basically, don't You know, I mean, don't be a burden to where you're constantly texting. I mean, it's like a brotherhood. Think of firefighters, police officers, and other first responders, nurses, doctors. When you're around these groups of people, or if you're a first responder yourself, like myself, that's a very social environment. I work inpatient. I work in ICU, so that's a very social environment because there's so much seriousness and complications going on with other people's lives. So it's really important that you have this kind of group, not necessarily in the workhouse, but outside the workhouse too. Because they say that your colleagues are not your friends. Those are your business friends. But people usually go above and beyond. They go against the grain anyway. And I mean, being friends, befriending your colleagues is not a bad thing, but just kind of, keep a limit on what you share and what you do with them. I mean, some of them even go to the gym together, but
These walking, talking men have learned the benefits of face-to-face meetups.
I got a little bit of exercise for my body and for my brain and my heart, too.
It's only been a few months, but is it fair to call this life-changing?
Yes, it's changed my life.
okay, so a few years ago, there's a website called Meetup. So you can find local groups in your area, things you like to do. And the good thing is it's co-ed, so it's men and women in these meetup groups. And so, it's just to hang out and stuff. Because I moved to a new area a few years ago. And it's like I have colleagues close to me and in my neighborhood, but then it's like I didn't really have a lot of friends in the immediate area. So what I did was I ventured out and to see what was going on, in the meetup groups. I just wanted to see, I was interested to see what was going on and what type of people. And being that living in the Bay Area, they were tech people. So of course, I couldn't really relate to them career-wise, but they were decent people though. Interesting, actually.
I think the thing that I want to communicate to men is that anyone can do this.
Just walk the walk and talk the talk. And I'm excited to have Mark Green himself in studio with me this morning to talk further about this because we had such a great conversation about this and there's so much more I know that we can cover. You've been doing this about 8 or 9 months now. You posted something on Reddit, and what was the response like when you did that?
What was interesting is a number of men emailed me and they said, oh, I already know what this is. I already get this. I understand why I need this.
And in some situations, it was the wives who saw it, who sent it to their husbands or their significant others and said, you should look into this, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because they've already been in conversation about this issue, right? Like you don't...
They're the main ones that need to be in these groups. Married people. You can't, it's like, it's bad. It's going against the grain for men to rely on their spouse as to not be lonely, because outside of a marriage, straight, same sex, whatever you are, you still need connections on the outside of your significant other. Like, you can't rely on a significant other for everything. You can't get everything from a significant other. A significant other only offers convenience, but not in every aspect of your life. Like, there has to be plus more from other people. Like, you still need a network outside of your household or marriage. Like, you can't get everything from one person. It's kind of like advising men to go 50-50 with their, with their significant other. No. Because what happens when that person's gone? Then you have to take back in and do everything again by yourself. So both of you guys should be 100-100.
You don't have enough friends. You need to develop that part of your life. And men already know it.
We showed some research there, but I want to add some more research there about feelings of loneliness spanning generations. More than half of Gen Z, Millennials, and Gen X experience loneliness. Almost half of baby boomers do.
Wow. Gen Z is at the top of the list. So basically, Gen Z, Millennials, and Gen X are pretty much all in the same area with it. Wow, that's crazy. And baby boomers, a lot of baby boomers are down bad. You got to remember, for people that are in marriages, a lot of them are sexless. So that really puts a damper on loneliness because they feel like they're being disconnected from their spouse. because once the sex stops, they're pretty much roommates. Yeah, I said it. Roommates. And you're going 50-50, so yeah, you guys are roommates for sure. There ain't no love. It's convenience. So you're stuck with somebody that despises you. So therefore, you have to lean on your male network to connect and get resources. And this is good because men need friends outside of their spouse, household, because to get to the next level, to advance in life, job opportunities, career, it's like you never know who you're going to meet. You like something that somebody else is interested into, and the other person that you meet within the friend group, they have connections that you can't get to. And they be like, hey, I know somebody that can do this, such and such. There you go. You got to talk the talk and walk the walk. So this is a good tool. Uh-oh, what happened?
I know you're familiar with some of the research, but talk about what seems to make it harder for men to make connections with each other.
Well, there's a researcher here at NYU named Niobe Way who wrote a book called Deep Secrets. And basically, she discovered that the cultural messages to boys and men are basically that as we get older, we shouldn't need close friendship. We shouldn't be so emotionally expressive. We should be tough and not ask for help. If we're going to talk to other boys and men, we should talk about, cards or sports, nothing deep. And the end result of all of that is that we disengage from our friendships. Her research shows that by late adolescence, boys are letting...
All right, so I'm going to stop it right here. So the best group that I found so far is car enthusiasts. I love cars, track days. I've been to the racetracks. I'm in a car club, and that's where I found my folks at and my outlet. And those are the most laid back people. As a guy hobby, yeah, being a car enthusiast is a gift. I've been a car enthusiast my whole life, but like I said, when I moved to a new area of the Bay Area, I had more access to all the car stuff. So if you follow me on Instagram, that's where I have all my car enthusiast stuff on there. I also have a second YouTube channel, but it's not that active as I post primarily the car stuff on Instagram. Instagram is just a better platform for all the car enthusiast stuff, the track days and all that. So check it out. But anyway, back to the video.
Go of those close friendships, which earlier they said they would go crazy without.
And oftentimes men are told to be competitive, which is at odds with being a good friend, right?
Exactly. You can't do a hyper-competitive version of masculinity and still form the kind of close friendships that we need.
It kind of makes sense, and we talked about this. I sort of experienced this a couple of years ago. You hit middle age, and sort of your friendships from your younger years, you're just not as close with them, whether it's because you're in relationships or you have kids. And as you get older, it's harder to make new friends. But younger people, we're seeing this too. There was a recent Gallup poll that showed 25% of men ages 15 to 34 said they felt lonely a lot, compared with only 18% of women in the same age group.
What? What's going on? Okay, young men among loneliness in the United States. So this is an American problem. That's what they're making it sound like. So it all starts from age 15. But if we rewind the clock back 20 years ago to 2005, those numbers will be a lot lower. You want to know why? Because everybody didn't have their face in front of a screen. We had the flip phones, but camera phones were just starting in 2005. Well, we could rewind it back to 2003. I remember when Sprint released the first flip phone with a camera on it. I mean, camera phones been around for a while, but it didn't become a thing till about maybe 2007, 2008, right around the first iPhone. So yeah, and at that time, back in 2005, there wasn't a lot of households with high-speed internet. That was becoming standard at the time too. So what I'm saying is there wasn't a whole bunch of online gaming. So with all these platforms, everything's subscription now, online streaming services, binging, that just made everything worse.
You're hearing from younger men, right?
We are. And the interesting thing about our walks is that they really break a lot of rules of what's normal for us. And one of the things that's happening is I'm in conversation on these walks with men who are in their late 20s, their mid 30s, and we don't often get to speak across generations in that way. But for me, what I'm finding out is that men, no matter what their age is, are still finding benefits in being able to share what's going on for them.
You don't talk about politics. That's one important rule. Talk about why that is.
Well, there's enough places to have those conversations. And also, I think politics often can be divisive, intentionally divisive. You know, you get people motivated to engage politically by picking a conflict for them and trying to get them to buy into it. But for men, what we're discovering on our walks is that when we stay more focused on what's going on for us in our lives and our relationships, we get a huge benefit from that, and politics isn't very conducive to those conversations.
One of the men we spoke to in the piece there, Jonathan Jacobs, he started a chapter in LA earlier this year. He's had more than 100 people show up overall.
Yeah.
Real quick, we only have a few seconds here. You're hearing from people all over the country, right?
Absolutely, especially once the story ran on NBC last night. It's sort of a if you build it, they will come moment. And when men hear about this, we're hearing, we've got signups now from Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, all over the country.
I feel like you're going to be hearing from a lot of folks. You're going to be helping them do a lot of good. Mark Green, appreciate you having this candid conversation with us. It's an important one.
Huge pleasure to be here.
All right.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that clip. Like I said, that was from NBC News. I'll pin the link in the description. This is Kai DeVale. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check you in another video. Have a good rest of your weekend.